we have these are line notes. Okay, you know it's a line note because the line is going right through the middle of it. Right? If you don't remember where to find the vocabulary for it, you go to there. You find that PDF, and here it is. Okay, and I was looking at line notes and space notes. A line note is a note with a line note is with lines going through it. So all 5 of these are line notes. And then these are space notes. They're in between the lines. If you're reading the note and it is in between the lines, then it is a space note. Notice that this one off to the right, this one is also a space note. Just pay attention to where the note head is. The stem tells us about the rhythm, like we were learning last week. The note head tells us about the pitch. Where exactly is that note? How high or low is the pitch? So that one, that's the quarter note with a stem. That one is also a space note because you're paying attention specifically to the note head to know whether it's a line note or a space note. And here is what I think of when I think of line notes and space notes. Okay, so we have 2 notes here. One of them is a line note. This poor guy right here, he is a line note. And the line went straight through him, killing him outright. Okay, so right there, that's the blood coming out of the side of his head where the line went right through the middle of it.
Looks like that.
I know, some people are always concerned about that. Okay, but that's what happened to that poor line note. It's right there, it is gone because the line is going right through the middle of it. If it is a space note, this guy is thinking, whew, I dodged a line right there. Because it's in between the lines, okay? So, and the lines have just come right over the top and right over the bottom, or underneath the bottom. So it is just barely safe, okay? If you happen to be trying to draw a line note or a space note, okay, so if I am trying to draw a space note and I go like this, let's not do it like that. And I go like this. Okay, it's kind of mostly in the space, but then it's going over the line some. I would actually read that one as a line note if the line is going through it. Okay, if it's a space and maybe you have really big lines like I happen to have right here, then you just put it in the very center of the space that you have. Usually it will be zoomed out more. Okay, and so it'll be feeling a bit more like this, where you're going in between the lines, right? And it's touching the top line and the bottom line. So once again, I'm going to draw a space note, but it's actually crossing that line right there. So that is actually a line note if it's crossing that line. And that is not a way that you want to draw it at all when you're doing that. We want it to be unambiguously line going through the center of it, or unambiguously it's right in the center of the space between those 2 lines. All right, now the next thing to learn about these lines and spaces are each line and space has its own name. Okay, so this one is line 1. Notice that line is at the very bottom. Okay, we start counting from the bottom and then we go up from there. So the bottom note is line 1. Line 2 is that second line up from the bottom. Line 3 is right in the middle. It wouldn't matter if you came from the top or the bottom for that, but you count up from the bottom. Line 4 is the 4th line up, and line 5 is the 5th line up. Notice how I am abbreviating it. I'm just going L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. That makes it easier, quicker for you to type or write what are the answers. For the spaces, it's the same deal, only notice that our first space is right here between the first line and the second line. That space line is in between the first line and the second line, right? That is the first space of the staff. I drew another note over here that some people might get the first space confused with. That one over here off to the right is not the first space. This one in between the first line and the second line, that one is the first space. And then we have the second space, third space, fourth space. And notice how I am abbreviating it. This is how you should write it out in your assignment. Space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4. Once again, in your assignment, that information that I just gave you, that is questions 23 through 28. Name the line or space for each figure.